Hello and welcome to another session of Karen's Colours. I'm Dr. Karen and these are my colour conversations. This is another one of those monthly readings, only this time we're going to be looking at September. As usual, we'll be looking at each of your birth months for September, and as we go through, if you haven't been here before, then you might find something that's quite different from the usual sorts of predictions that are made on YouTube. If you are a regular viewer, then welcome back. I hope that your August went as it should have, and if you used the colours that were missing to incorporate those into your lives, then maybe, just maybe, it was a better August for you than it might otherwise have panned out. I'm particularly thankful to you for attending these sessions because I really am still in the experimental stage, wondering whether or not these are worthwhile. But they're fun to do, and I hope you enjoy them as well. So let's get started. For September's readings, I've chosen an oracle card from the Gabrielle Bernstein's The Universe Has Your Back. It's a new season, and so we should have some interesting stuff coming to us from the universe. And hopefully those messages will resonate with you and consolidate some of the reading as we go along. Right, now we're ready for a colour reading for people born in the month of February for what's going to happen with them in September 2025. Firstly, we'll choose an oracle card. And these are fairly new, so they tend to stick together a bit. But my shuffling is improving, so we're on our way. We'll just choose the top one there and put it under here to look at the end of the colour reading to see how it resonates. All right, I now need some colour cards to indicate to people in February how their September 2025 is likely to happen. Now, of course, I've pre-shuffled these as I usually do because they're so hard to shuffle because they're homemade. So let's begin. You come into the month with brown on brown. The majority of the month involves orange on grey. Then we have brown on black, and the underlying energy is green on red. Of course, the first thing we notice is that the colour brown is repeated, and it's repeated 3 times. Once as the action that you take with you into the next month, that is into October, but also as the energy that you have brought in with you from August. When it appears in the same position, in the same circle, so that we have it as the action as well as the motivator, the drive, then there is a restriction that occurs within the ability of the person who receives such a card to do anything different than what the colour represents. You can't change the drive from the action, or the actions that you do will actually create more of that same drive. There are only 12 of these in the pack, and it's of these single colours in the pack, and it's very rare to actually receive any of them. So this is an indicator that something important has happened to you in the past. Brown on brown is the Knight of Pentacles in the tarot. And what the Knight of Pentacles is associated with is a slow, plodding, slow-moving energy that gradually gets you from one place to another. And that's exactly what the brown on brown represents in terms of colour. Brown internally is all about that need or drive or motivation towards doing something to attain some sort of ambition or goal There is something to be achieved here. In the real world, those achievements come purely as a result of the activities that you undertake, the learning, the skills that you learn, the way in which you present yourself in order to achieve those particular goals. It's a very slow energy, but it's also a steady energy. It moves from one place to another, and eventually you will actually attain the drives, the goals, the motivations, the ambitions that you are looking for. And in the past, that has been where you are coming from. The underlying energy that impinges on this is green over red. Now, green over red is also a tarot card color combination. This time it's the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is all about choosing which direction you want to take in terms of your inspiration. Where does the energy, the fire inside, lead you? The red internally is all about energy that is energy to spare. You are fired up, ready to go. You've got lots and lots and lots of ideas. You've got lots of skills. You've got lots of positive things internally that will enable you to use whatever energy you have pent up here to head off where. Well, in the real world, it's opportunities for any direction whatsoever. Green is making choices. It's making choices based on values. So you have energy to spare and you have values that will lead you in a particular direction. This Two of Wands energy, this having to make choices about your desires, your inspirations, permeates the entirety of the month. But particularly, it has a lot of impinged energy that mixes with this Knight of Pentacles energy that we get here from the brown on brown. If we take the brown internal drive and we add it to the green opportunities that are available as well, then we find that the need or drive or the motivation to do something real in the real world will in fact take a chance. It will pretty much gamble with whatever comes its way. Yep, that looks like a good idea. Let's go for it. That's the sort of energy that this green over brown enables you to accommodate in your life, and it has been working in the past. Alternatively, you could also have had the brown over red, where there's been a great deal of frustration and perhaps even anger at what it is that you have been doing. Maybe the job that you've been carrying out has not been one that you particularly wanted to continue with. You've got the skills, you've got the goals that you need to meet, you've got your parameters that you have to work towards, but internally it's creating frustration. It's not actually something that really makes you want to feel as though you have accomplished something that meets your desires, that meets your passions. And because green and red are opposites in the color wheel, their effect upon your energy in the past, upon this plodding, getting things done energy, also has pulled you from pillar to post. You've been frustrated with what you've been able to achieve. At the same time, you want to achieve something different. But whenever you achieve something different, it frustrates you because it's not what you wanted. And that inability to make the choices to follow whatever dreams you have, coupled with the slow plodding energy of having to learn how to do whatever it is that you want to do, have led to a bit of conflict in the past. So where does that take you for the majority of the month? Well, here we have orange over grey. Grey as an internal driver is all about wanting to escape confusion, wanting to escape uncertainty, wanting to make things a bit clearer when you really have too many ideas, too many options, too many things impinging upon you all at the same time, and none of them particularly pointing in any direction. Orange in the real world as a result of that means that you've actually had to confront a few things. You've had crisis occur in your life and you have actually gotten there and faced up to some of the less pleasant aspects of whatever it is that's been driving you down here. The uncertainty and confusion has created a drama, a crisis, a way in which you have stood up, fought, surviving whatever it is that has been thrown at you. But that survival hasn't actually made you feel secure. If anything, this creates more insecurity rather than easing the conflict of that insecurity internally, of that inability to see a clear path. When we address that alongside the underlying energy, we find here orange over red, which is a really volatile combination. Orange on red is the King of Wands energy in the tarot. So it has to do with stamping your mark upon the world. This is what was desired. You are able to confront whatever it is that internally drives you, fires you up. There is a challenge to your autonomy, and in the real world, you have gone out there and you have faced up to it and you have overcome. That's what that energy is about. But you could also have a conflict in that the green energy here, the green ability to have opportunities come your way, can also result from the confusion and uncertainty and the inability to make up your mind that occurs internally. Now, when you have the King of Wands energy associated with an uncertainty about what direction to take, then you find yourself almost at a stalemate once again. Again, it's this conflict between the green and the red, this swinging backwards and forwards between desire and what you know is right. That's my passion, but this is what I'm restricted to. This is what I want to achieve. That's the opportunities that are available to me. Here, the orange and grey is about having to deal with the fact that you don't know what you really want. And in the real world, you're fighting dragons, basically, trying to overcome that feeling of, well, what do I really want? How do I really go about achieving it? And at the same time, not making a drama or a crisis out of every single thing that comes your way, because that's part and parcel of the dilemma that associates with these four colours when they are intermingled. Stepping into the future then, we have brown over black. Now, this is a different aspect altogether. Black internally is the desire to get away from things. It's time out. It's needing to settle away from what is, removing yourself from reality, if you like. It sometimes also denotes some form of depression. So whatever's happened back here hasn't been particularly comfortable. So in the future, you'll find yourself feeling a little bit down about all of those activities. Now, you can see that that black and grey are not very far removed from one another. Grey is simply a lighter form of black. But we can also see that brown and orange are not very far removed from one another in the colour scheme of things. In fact, brown is often regarded as a non-colour because it is simply a darker form of orange. So here we have basically a darker form of what this major energy throughout the month is. This is dealing with uncertainty by confronting it. Here we have, on the other hand, dealing with a wanting to shut down and remove yourself by studying for something new, creating new ambitions. It's brooding. It's brooding about what you could do, what you want to do, but it also is having to rearrange your way of thinking and doing things so that you can acquire the skills that are necessary in order for you to attain the goals that you have set yourself in the real world, even though internally they may not necessarily be very satisfying. So what happens when we incorporate the underlying energy? If we take the brown, the goals and the skills that you're creating in the real world and add them to the red of the driver in the underlying energy, what we have here is a situation in which frustration and energy despair gets you to take risks with what it is that you want. You are finding yourself with the red and the brown taking the sort of leaps of faith that come with deciding that this is the particular direction you want to go in, this is how you're going to achieve that particular outcome, and these are the skills that are necessary for you to learn in order to attain those goals. And the red driver that comes from inside is the passion that fires all of this up and gets you moving again. On the other hand, the green energy, this having lots of opportunities available to you, over the top of this wanting to simply refrain from the involvement in anything, is a problem. It's a conundrum. You find yourself feeling too demotivated to take the opportunities that are available. And again, it comes back down to this green and red opposition here. If you've got energy to spare and opportunities that are available to you, but what you're doing with them is closing yourself off and simply studying what you could do or dreaming about what you could be doing rather than actually doing it, then you're not going to be going very far very quickly. So how do we deal with this that allows you to make a more favorable outcome? Because a favorable reading of this is, I brood about what I can manifest, and because I'm in touch with my psychic self, I can put that into the real world. So even though this is a darker version of what we've got here, it is also potentially a more realistic and positive version if we allow this green and red dichotomy to establish itself in a positive way as well. So let's have a look at the colours that are missing to see what we can do with them. You have black, but there's no white. You have red, but there's no yellow. You have green, but there's no blue. You have brown. You have orange. You have grey. There's no purple. There is no pink. And there is no cyan. So here we have 6 colours that indicate the skills that you are able to use throughout the month of September. They're fairly powerful skills, all of them. You've got energy, you've got ambition, you've got the ability to go inward, you've got opportunities, you've got power in terms of being able to survive whatever is thrown at you, and you have the ability to overcome confusion. What is missing here are these colours, and these are the ones that are important for you to deal with. White is being able to allow things to happen without you interfering with them. Yellow is about learning and remembering and keeping a happy and positive and optimistic outlook. Blue is about organisation, about taking responsibility and also nurturing of yourself and of those around you. Purple is about being able to both create and destroy the things around you. So it's a healing energy. It's ripping off the Band-Aid from that sore that has now healed. Pink is about love, but it's also about vulnerability, desire, and being attractive to others and also attracting others. And cyan, which is the paler form of blue, is about absolute bliss, contentment, and satisfaction in all that you do. So the idea is to look at those 6 colours and determine which of them is the most appealing, which of them is the least appealing, and put those 2 colours into your life throughout the month of September and see where it will take you. Because it certainly won't be towards a situation in which you are in stalemate, as some of this can imply if you don't watch what you're doing. Let's have a look at the oracle card to see what it has to say on the subject. I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. All right. Whatever it takes is what this is about. This plodding energy that will enable you to move forward one step at a time and getting closer to consciousness is what the black and the grey are about. This is consciousness in terms of in touch with the inner self. This is consciousness in terms of moving towards the light, which is what this is about. Maybe this is a hint from your unconscious to you. Are you game enough to take it on? And there you have it, your birthday month as it plays out for September 2025. I hope that these readings are useful to you to help guide you through the various different decisions that need to be made and the activities that accompany those decisions. But if it doesn't resonate immediately, perhaps come back in a week or so, because you never know just how these things tend to play out. And often we don't recognize them unless they are in retrospect. As I mentioned at the start, I pre-shuffle all the cards, and if you want to know how I go about doing this, I will attach a link to the video that explains that down below in the show notes. But if you've got any comments to make, any ideas that either support or even refute the sort of information that I'm handing out here, please leave them in the comments. I'm more than happy to engage. After all, a discussion isn't a discussion. A conversation is not a conversation when there's only one person doing the talking. So for September, I wish you all the best. I hope your colours work for you. I certainly use mine. Mine this month were all about to stop, settle back, and reorganize. And as you can see from the way in which I've presented this month's sessions, I've done a little bit of just that. So until next time, may your colours guide you to a wonderfully fulfilling life. Bye.